What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Sport Universe Reacts. So what we're reacting to today is the continued Houston Astros scandal. I'm not going to go into the background of the Houston Astros scandal, as I feel like me and Nick have done a pretty good job of covering that, and the articles that are out, you can go read those. So I'm just going to get into the specifics of what this is about today. So the biggest news coming out of this whole situation, Rob Manfred had time for questions today after he toured the new Texas Rangers park that's opening in 2020, and the majority of the questions were obviously about the Houston Astros scandal. And he said some very interesting things that are going to have a big impact on the Astros, obviously. So, the first thing he said was he has a broad array of penalties that he can dish out on the Astros, and it doesn't have to be the degree to what he had done in the past, but more saying it's going to be harsher. It's going to be a harsher degree. So what he's done in the past, which will give you some basis to what he could possibly do for the Astros, he's fined a team $2 million. He's taken 2 draft picks away from the Cardinals for some illegal hacking they did. He's taken foreign player rights away from the Braves for some weird stuff the Braves did in Latin America. Based off that, I don't know what you can take from it, but it's probably going to be harsher than that. Rob Manfred really stuck it to the sign stealing stuff. It was obvious that's a big deal to him. I mean, last year he came out with a rule about, or came out with, I don't know if rule is the right word, but basically came out with ways for baseball to minimize sign stealing, electronic sign stealing, and this comes out of it. The other thing he said that's important is, well, actually, let me go into that first. From the fact that he made a 2019 rule, it's kind of interesting to figure out if he's going to base what he has to, but he has to base what the Astros did prior to the new rule change. So he has to be careful with that because obviously 2017 Astros didn't know about the 2019 rules that were coming out. From there, the other interesting thing he said was that there's a possibility. Right now they're going to focus on the Astros, and they haven't looked into other teams, but there is a possibility that they might do that in the future, because obviously he wouldn't say that if they weren't thinking about it. And trying to think if there's anything else. I don't think. Oh, the other big thing that he didn't specifically say, but teams are going to take away from this, the way that Rob Manfred deals with this is going to basically say how they're going to be able to deal with sign stealing in the future and problems like that. And a lot of GMs and owners are hoping he really clamps down on the Astros, because obviously they don't want sign stealing. And this one decision is basically going to define how he really rules about sign stealing for the future. So it's obviously an important issue. So that's a little politics stuff involved, which is kind of interesting, because for those who don't know, in the Supreme Court and stuff like that in the United States, when the Supreme Court decides on major decisions, it takes a lot for them to, in the future, they usually use those same decisions to say the outcome of future cases, and it takes a lot for them to overturn it. So it's kind of the same thing for baseball. But other than that, that's really it. There's not much else about it that's really important. He didn't really cite if individual players were going to be penalized or just the Astros as an organization. He was kind of being unclear about that whole situation. Like I said, if other teams are going to be involved, or if it's going to be individual players or the whole team. So we have to see how that comes out. But that's it. Thanks for watching. It's another Reacts. Like and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram. Read our articles. New writers writing articles, so that's exciting. You can go read that. But other than that, that's it. Bye.